On day 11, we wake up as the ship continues to churn its way southward. Soon we're running into a fog bank. Here we go through the fog. Fog lifts over the ocean, but along the shore it's still there with only the tops of the mountains peeking out above it. It's time for another lecture by Brent Nixon.
Sound area was considered the kind of the fishbowl perfect environment for studying orca. And what we quickly figured out was that the Puget Sound orca were a bunch of weirdos. Okay? And they weren't doing what the rest of the world was doing. And so everything got layers of communication going on there. Not only was it a slang term, but it was also a double communication happening. They were saying, I've got a fish for baby whale. Nobody needs to hunt for baby whale. And then the second half of the communication was, baby whale, get over here and get your fish. There's so much James Bond stealth bomber of boats. They're so quiet. I mean, there could be a bird on the beach and you could sneak right up. It's like, ah, where the boat come from? But in power boat, they hear you coming for days. And if they've got a choice between, it's an incredible experience to be out, have these animals encountered. But you don't find orca with sea kayaks. They find you. And they love kayaks. Look over your shoulder. The best is right there. Typical sea kayak, you guys, is right around 18 feet. Okay? So right there, from him to me, would be a two-person sea kayak. That's not how big orca is. Typical female orca, 23 to 26 feet. There's 25. Typical male, 27 to 29 feet. And we're in an 18-foot sea kayak? Right there? They could just take their tail and go, whack! And there'd be always clean and dry inside. But after an encounter like this, there's always a lot more fluids in the bottom of the kayak. I'm sure it doesn't help that I tell them that they love kayaks because they're crunchy on the outside, chewy in the center. But we've only got 2 documented attacks of orca on humans in the wild. Only 2, you guys. 1974, Oregon coastline. You know, here's these transient orca. They were nailing harbor seals. I mean, there's blood everywhere. And this guy puts on a black neoprene swim outfit and jumps in. We're talking not the sharpest tool in the shed here. They grabbed hold of his bum, took him over to the beach, and spit him out on the beach. As if to say, you shouldn't be out here right now. We've seen the bite marks in his bum. We know that it happened. And 3 years ago, female diver from San Diego drops into an orca feeding frenzy. Hello. They grabbed hold of her leg and took her 1.5 miles to the beach and dropped her on the beach. You shouldn't be out here right now. Only 2 documented attacks of orca on humans in the wild. Can we really call them attacks? Not really. But in the big, you've seen them. Over the course of these last few days, you've seen these black and white creatures zipping around a vessel. Some of you, somebody said, oh, they look like little baby killer whales. No, this is Dall's porpoise. And somewhere in time, somebody's going to challenge you and say, hey, what's the difference between a dolphin and a porpoise? And you've got to answer. You just go, and before they call 911 on you for an epileptic seizure, you let them know that dolphins have a distinctly pronounced forehead, but porpoise do not. Dolphins have a distinct crease at the base of their forehead. Porpoise don't have that. Dolphins have a beak, also known as a rostrum. Porpoise don't have that. Dolphin teeth are cone-shaped, look like a sharp ice cream cone. Porpoise teeth are spatulate, look like the front teeth of you. It's tough to get them to smile in the wild, don't you? Dorsal fins, classic of the dolphins, hooked, falcate, looks like a quarter moon. Porpoise triangulated, base width greater than base height, and size. Porpoise rarely exceeds 6 feet. Dolphins routinely exceed 6 feet in physical size. So, you know, what's the difference between a dolphin and a porpoise? Tom and I were standing there. I said, go ahead, Make as much noise as you can. The kids are screaming and shouting. The whales are spy hopping all over the place. And then I said, totem pole, everybody get quiet. The kids stood there perfectly still. The whales swished their heads back and forth like, where'd those kids go? Where'd those kids go? As soon as they figured out the kids were still standing there, they took their tails and went, whap, and drenched everybody. Now, fascinating enough, none of the boys breed within their own family structuring. Granny will say to her boys within her family structuring, no, you go over to that family and breed. Now, September is a big super pod time frame. We get breeding pods that are coming in from every direction. Whoa, it's upsetting. Guys, it's an exciting time for the guys because the guys get to go away into another family and play hard to get. It's up to the girls to tease him in the right direction for breeding purposes. Once he's finished breeding, he always goes back home to his mom. The world of Orca. There's wannabes out there. Nearshore Resident Group. You guys are very familiar with this group. This is kind of the lovey-dovey group of orca. They're the fish eaters. The ones that we see regularly throughout the Puget Sound. These are the ones that show up in captive situations on a regular basis. Only kill a trainer every once in a while. And then there's the transients. Whoa. I mean, these are almost like the Hell's Angels of orca as far as their will is concerned. Every transient that's ever been in captivity has killed every one of their trainers. Genetically, the transients and nearshore residents have at least a 45,000 year split. Maybe more, possibly more. And then there's the offshores. One of the reasons I accepted a position on this vessel is because it goes outside of the Queen Charlotte Islands, because it goes outside of Vancouver Island, out where these offshores are hanging out. And we've got so little data associated with these orca that are out here. And of the few necropsies that we've done, here's these creatures with these sanded down teeth because they've been eating so much shark. When you put the boys and the girls next to each other, it becomes pretty obvious. They're launching their bodies up and out of the water. Now, we're talking about an animal that moves at roughly 35 miles per hour. They can cover 100 miles out in the wild, no difficulty at all. In captivity, if they cover 4 miles in a day, that's a lot. But out here, 100 miles, no trouble whatsoever. And we're talking about an animal that understands laminar flow, can actually change the shape of its body to decrease drag and increase the head speed. So here's this animal that's out there. They're headed toward their favorite restaurants. They have every salmon stream in the Puget Sound memorized. They know exactly when the fish are going to be there, and they're there. But they're not the only whales that show up at the restaurant. There'll be other orca that show up. But we don't see turf wars. We don't see one group of orca going, hey, this is my restaurant, you can't eat here. No, what we saw really freaked us out. They'd line up in almost straight lines. And of course, because humans are so warring in their behaviors, we thought they were squaring off for battle. And then, on some unknown clue, they dive down and touch every whale in the other family. They talk to them too. They talk, no. Ah, like, my name's Brent, nice to meet you. And then they hunt seal and choke them down. No. They like to play with their prey a little bit. And after they're satiated, they always go and get one more. Take it offshore, knock it around. And then take it back to the beach, still alive. It's kind of like, just kidding. Imagine the psychological damage going on there. But what they're really doing is they're training the next generation of prey not to be afraid of the black and white guys. Think about it for a minute, you guys. Penguin walks up the beach after being slapped around and says, yeah, he knocked me around a little bit, but I'm here to talk about it. Trust me, the ones that die don't talk about it. They will grab hold of animals, smack them.
People start to gather around the pool as we sail into the Strait of Juan de Fuca again, with the Olympic Peninsula on our right and British Columbia on our left. Soon the pilot is coming out from Victoria, British Columbia to guide us into port. seagulls are escorting us into the harbor. Then it's time for all of us to get off the ship and pass through customs on the way into Canada. Victoria is on the southern end of an island. We have docked out at the cruise ship docks and we'll be taking this route into town on a bus. Then we'll get off the bus and walk around looking a while in the downtown area around the inner harbor before taking a bus back to the ship. I'll get off and look a little bit around the harbor before heading back to the ship. Let's look around Victoria. The Empress Hotel is one of the oldest structures here and has been here for hundreds of years.
We did want to go on. It was fun. We died.
We head over to the Natural History Museum, but we're not going to go inside. We're wanting to look around the outside at the totem poles and longhouses of the native Indians here, or in Canada, they're called the First People. Next, we walk around the inner harbor where it has been developed in stores and other tourist areas. This is one of the best places in the world to see killer whales, and many tours go out to see them. We arrived at 6 o'clock in the afternoon and are leaving at midnight, so it's time to head back to the boat. On the way, I'll go over to the breakwater and look at some of the paintings there. The seagulls are looking for a handout as the sun starts to set. After sunset, they light up the Capitol building and some of the other buildings in downtown. And it's time for us to head off to bed. We'll be in Seattle tomorrow.
Well, welcome to British Columbia. We in Canada are proud of our country and we love our flowers too. I hope that you saw some things today that really helped you enjoy the beauty here. Sorry you can't stay longer, but maybe you can come back someday.